Hello everyone, this is Samantha Garrow with our second video on how to study the Word of God in our series of short videos. When I study the Bible, I keep a notebook of notes and I make it really bright and colorful and interesting so that my brain will actually remember. There are a lot of statistics out there about you only remember about 15% of what you read. But if you read it and then you write it, you boost that number significantly. If you bring in a visual image, then even more so. Do you remember it? I think it goes up to 50 or 75% once you have a visual image with that. And so that's why I use my notebook, and I make it very colorful and interesting, and I'll show that to you as we get in. But and this is kind of a little bit of what it looks like when you study the Word of God according to this manner, and how God can richly multiply it and bless you. And help you remember and retain what you've learned, and just take you to the new level. So how you do this, first of all, there's several supplies that you need. You need a composition book. Composition book. Does not need to be a spiral bound notebook, because it breaks apart, it comes out. Not a 3-ring binder with paper in it. It needs to be an actual legitimate composition book. Trust me on this one, okay? Because you don't want your pages falling out and getting lost. You don't want to have to go through the effort of trying to tape them in. I did that for years, and then finally I just broke down and got a plain old composition book, and it works so much better. The 3-ring binders, the same thing happened, where they come out, and it's just a big hassle, and then they're hard to carry around, and the rings break on you after time, and it just doesn't work out well. But this is very small, very portable, very thin. You can stick this in your bag. You can stick this in your purse, ladies, if you have a larger purse, and take it with you to church. It's not that big of a hassle, but those big 3-ring binders certainly are. So get you a composition book. Every year during the summer, when all the school supplies go on sale, I normally pick up about 5 or 10 of them, and that lasts me a full year. Plus I have extras that I give out to people. The next thing that you're going to need is you are going to need different colored pens. You can also use colored pencils. I use a variety, but you need a bunch of colors. Do not get gel pens, because they bleed through the pages really badly. Avoid markers in your book at all costs, because it bleeds through the pages. Highlighters can be okay sparingly, but crayons work really good for highlighters in place of them, because they don't bleed through. You also can use some scissors and tape. Avoid glue if you can, because it can warp the pages. I prefer to use tape in my notebook, but that's what you'll need. Now, when you go to use your notebook, there's a couple of things that are important about setting up your notebook. First off, you want to start with the table of contents. Okay? Table of contents, and you want to make several pages your table of contents, and this is very important. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of table of contents. I'd rather have extra to work with that I don't need than run out of pages. So I normally use about the first 5 pages, and that normally is very sufficient for me. So you want 5 pages, number it, table of contents at the top. Okay, so that's the first step in setting up your notebook where you can do Bible study. The second thing that you need to do, y'all aren't going to like me for this, but it's important, is you need to number all of the pages, front and back. Okay, so it says here 100 sheets and 200 pages, so you're going to have 200 through here. So you're going to start on table of contents. It's page 1, and let's see if I can get it to show up on there. There we go. Page 1 on the right, on the other side, page 2, then page 3, and you go all the way through your entire notebook that way, and you should come up with 200. That's important. And now I'm going to tell you why and what you do next. So when you are doing your notebook studies, you are going to fill out your table of contents as to what you're studying and what page you're on. And what I like to do is I like to color code. So if I'm just studying one thing, if I just find a random verse and it's going to end there, then I just use a regular black pen. But if it's going to be an ongoing study, like right here, I'm studying prayer. It's an ongoing study. I use this side for the date that I studied it. I put the title. A lot of times I'll put the verses that I'm studying or the topic. So this probably appears backwards to you, but I have prayer here. I have the verses that I'm studying specifically, and I have the word effective. Essential, because I'm studying about why prayer is essential. Now over here, and see if you can see it in the video, this is where the line is for the other side of the page. Okay, so I stay within this line and I just write my topics here. And then on this side, I put the page numbers. So your first page number would be page 6 because 1 through 5 was your table of contents. Okay, so on page 6, I started studying my prayer. Okay, so I just fill up as many pages as I want, no pressure. Use them. You should have picked up several composition books. They're not that expensive, so use as many pages. Don't try to cram in too many, because then it's hard to absorb it if it looks messy, if it looks cluttered. You don't want your pages looking cluttered. So 6, and then when I was done studying that topic, I just counted all the pages. I saw I ended on page 11, so I wrote that. So that's how I do it. And the reason that you want scissors, and I just have a small pair of like safety scissors that I keep, and I have like a little bag that I keep all of my pens and stuff in, so that I know where to get them anytime I need to study. But the reason I do that is because I'll go places and they'll have notes, at a seminar, or I'll find some poem online that inspires me to study more into the scriptures, and I'll cut it out and I'll paste it. I'll tape it in there and use that. So you'll want to have those on hand too. So that is how you set up your notebook for Bible study. Join us for the next video. Thank you.